The day bison graced your village was the most important day of your life. But for me, it was Tuesday.
Welcome to the Rated G for Gamers podcast, episode 361. Before we start the show, we want to thank all of our wonderful fans who have supported us. And if you want to show support for the Rated G Network, you can find us on Patreon at patreon.com/RatedG4Gamers. You can also find us on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Rated G for Gamers. And finally, please rate and review us on iTunes and Spotify. We appreciate all the love. I'm your host, Dave Bertino, and this is my co-host, Dan. Welcome to the PlayStation Showcase, Robinson.
What's going on, man? I thought you were going to say happy birthday. Happy
Well,
26 years. 26 years. You don't look as good when you're 26.
Of course, happy birthday. Now, we said it on the Saturday Morning Retro episode. We need to say it again. His birthday hasn't quite happened yet, but you do got, you know.
Well, when the show drops, when the show drops, it would drop on my birthday.
You got
I think
that,
this is the first time we've had a show that dropped on my birthday.
You got that just before summer birthday. It's a good time, right? End of May, right? The weather's good. We already had the spring forward, so we get the nice sun staying out a little bit late. The weather's good. You got a good time for a birthday.
No. When you're a kid and you only get games on your birthday and Christmas, this is like a good half, right? Like your birthday's in May.
It's literally
June.
Christmas in July, yeah.
You get that half mark, one game for your birthday that leads you through the summer, right? Yeah, that was me. That was me as a kid.
Yep. You got to hope that you pick right, because you could end up with like I don't know. You get up with like Deadly Towers or something.
No.
Listen, you gotta suffer.
No, listen. When it's your birthday, you don't pick. Okay, they just like. I remember my aunt brought me some Ninja Turtles. She said, "I got you some Ninja Turtles, baby. Baby, I got you some Ninja Turtles." I was like, "Oh, I was a big Ninja Turtles fan." Yeah. She got me Ninja Turtles from the dollar store.
Oh,
rubbery.
she got you the Samurai Toads.
Yeah.
She got you the off-brand version. I
appreciate the thought, but it wasn't quite what I thought. So those four rubber imitation turtles became like my Foot Clan soldiers.
Oh my god! You should totally check out. There's this YouTuber called Steven He, and he does a lot of he does a lot of YouTube shorts. He does a lot of he's an Asian dude, so he's taking it from like an Asian angle in some cases, but he does a lot of like off-brand videos, where it's like, like off-brand video games or like off-brand superheroes. It's very funny. It's very funny.
Interesting.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. Listen, we have an awesome show this week. We're going to talk all about the PlayStation Showcase 2023, right? Like it's the first PlayStation Showcase in like a year and a half, almost 2 years.
Yeah.
Right. And that's pretty much it. That's all we're going to talk about. We're going to act like this is E3. Like
it is. Used to do. It's the start. PlayStation's kicking it off. Sony's kicking it off.
We would do a show for sort of like each day of E3, and I miss those days. I don't want E3 to go anywhere. I
know.
But before we get into any of that, let's just start the show with notable games coming out next month. Right?
Big month. Very big month.
June's a big month, right? Like we got Street Fighter 6 coming up for PS5. PS4, Xbox Series X,
huge.
PC, June 2nd.
Huge.
This
is 8 years in the making? It's been a while since Street Fighter 5 came out.
Oh, that's true.
Street Fighter 5 was 2015 or 2016, I forget.
I think it was 20. Were we doing the show at that point?
I was right around that time. I know that I picked up the PlayStation. I got the Uncharted Collection 1, 2, and 3, and I think I also picked up Street Fighter 5 at the time. which I think was I think it was
Street
around.
Fighter Five. No, well, Uncharted Collection came out during the holidays. That was like a November release.
Well, right. I mean, I got it after the fact.
Street Fighter came out in like March.
Yeah.
March. It came out like earlier in the year. I remember that.
I think
I have the special edition.
Yeah, I think that's about when I got it. But
I know you can't see, but behind me, if you can, if anybody's watching this, you zoom in, you can see Ryu right there, right next to Sonic with the.
Oh, he's hiding in the back, but he's there doing the arms crossed. Yeah.
So I have the special edition of that. They did have a trailer and brand new story trailer for Street Fighter 6 at the PlayStation Showcase, which we're not going to get too much into because it's just a lot. So I just wanted to mention it here. They did have a new trailer. You can go check that out online. Diablo 4 comes out. PlayStation 5, PS4, Xbox One, Xbox Series X, and PC.
Yep.
June 6th.
Yep. Gonna be big. I missed out on the beta, but probably gonna pick this game up.
Me too. I'm actually interested in Diablo.
Okay.
I got Diablo. I picked up remember Diablo came out for, was it Diablo 3 or 2? It was
Diablo 3 came out for 360 and PS3. Oh, and eventually the Switch, yeah.
Yeah. So I picked that up and I was kind of into it. And I was like, I didn't know I was a Diablo fan. Well,
yeah.
Look at that.
It's very actiony. Very actiony.
We got Crash Team Rumble coming out for, PS4, PS5, Xbox Series X, Xbox One, June 20th.
Crash Team Rumble is the racing game?
No, I have no idea what this is. It's not the racing game. I think this is the...
Kind of fell under our radar.
No. This is... We just didn't talk about it. It came out and just wasn't that big of a deal for us. It was like that multiplayer Smash clone, I think.
Okay. I mean, it could be okay. It'd be okay.
Yeah, no, I'm not. I have no.
It's on. It's coming out at $29.99, so it's definitely got the right price.
Yeah, definitely not looking forward to that. I'm not going to pick this up, but a game I will pick up, which right behind Diablo and Street Fighter, may be the biggest game of not only the month, but maybe the biggest game of the year, and that is Final Fantasy 16, PS5 exclusive, June 22nd. That also had a new trailer at the PlayStation Showcase, which we won't get into because it's just a lot. Too much. I'm going to mention it right now. This was a surprise. This was announced, and I was kind of shocked. I'm definitely going to pick this up, and that's Sonic Origins Plus, coming out for all platforms, June 23rd. Destroy All Humans 2 Reprobed. That's single player. That's coming out for PS4 and Xbox One, June 27th. And finally, a game that just got a release date last week. That is AEW Fight Forever, coming out for all platforms, even the Switch, June 29th. So,
finally, some competition in the ring, right? It's been WWE for as long as I can remember. Nobody else is coming through with anything,
No, TNA made some noise when they got Kurt Angle and Christian from WWE, and then Booker T, Sting, and Hulk Hogan actually came over there. TNA made some noise at the end of the 2000s, beginning.
Oh, I'm not just referring to the organization. I'm referring to the video game market.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, well,
we haven't had a
video
lot.
game. TNA had a video game came out. It wasn't great.
Exactly. We barely get any. Now I think this AEW game. Now it is the first one, right? So
expect
you gotta
bugs. Expect some bugs.
Well, and it's not gonna have all the modes and the whatever that you would normally expect from like a long-standing WWE yearly release, right? It's not like Madden where it's had time to mature. They're doing it from the ground up. They're taking all their knowledge because it is Ukes, I believe, who's doing it. We didn't
even get all the modes with WWE.
Well, no. But
that's why they had to skip a year.
I feel like it's going to be an admirable outing, right? You're gonna get a bunch of wrestlers. You're gonna get all the popular people. Probably gonna have a creator wrestler, and you'll get a bunch of modes in there, and you'll have a good time with it. And hopefully, it does well. And I feel like they're gonna do more. They may not do a yearly situation.
It may not be with Ukes either. I mean, there was some development turmoil, right? There were some issues behind the scenes, regarding that. So they may, if all else fails, they just go EA. Have EA make a wrestling game They'll have the marketing behind it
I
and
know.
microtransactions.
They would. No.
All right. So this is normally when we would take a break, but we're not going to do a break. We're going to go straight in. We're going to get into the PlayStation Showcase. But I will say this. Before we do that, Dave, I usually have my Spider-Man cup, and we always play a game. Guess what's in my cup?
Uh-huh.
But today I have a special occasion. Guess what's in my bottle? You want to guess? No.
RC Cola.
Well, it could be 7-Up. You never know.
I don't think 7-Up has that caramel color.
It could be dirty. It could be dirty 7-Up. Who knows?
You should take that back to the store, Dan. You should get a refund on your 7-Up.
It could be dirty. It could be a dirty 7-Up. Who knows?
Ew.
All right. Let's talk all about PlayStation Showcase
Mm-hmm.
2023.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And we're going to start with the biggest news out of the showcase, and that was Spider-Man 2 got a lengthy gameplay.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like, I thought they tricked me, right? Because we knew Craven was going to be in the game.
Mm-hmm.
We knew Craven and Venom were the bad guys for the game.
Right.
And this was at the end of the showcase, and we had a thing in the forest. They showcased it in the forest, and Craven's hunting someone, and he says, "You're not a challenge for me," and kills him, which is kind of crazy. He just kills him with his bare hands.
Mm-hmm.
And then he wants a challenge, and they say, "Hey, look, we should go to New York, and look at all of these people." Like,
Yep.
they showed Spider-Man, they showed the Lizard, they showed a whole bunch. I mean, it went by pretty quickly, but we should have, I should have went back, looked at it, and sort of slowed it down and see all the different Marvel characters that are in Spider-Man. Right. That may make an appearance. Remember, they could be cameos in the game.
I
You never know. Or
100%.
DLC.
Like they essentially did the Sinister Six in the first one, right? They had like the 6 baddies that you went after to complete out the journey. So I highly suspect there's going to be like other bosses in there before you I'm assuming fight Craven or Venom or both together. Who knows?
Well, that was it, and then they cut, and I thought that was it. I thought that was the end of the showcase. I thought, wow, okay, another cinematic trailer, and then, but no, it's like 6 months later, 3 months later, and he's in New York, and we get gameplay. We get crazy gameplay. You get to play as Peter Parker and Miles Morales. You get to switch between the two. It looks like.
Yep.
All right. I don't know if that is like, hey, I'm playing Spider-Man and I click a button and I'm playing as Miles Morales. I don't know if it's as seamless as that. It looks like once you're finished with one section with Peter Parker, then they probably just switch you automatically to the next Spider-Man.
It felt a little scripted, especially when they were like, I guess chasing Craven at the time. I think it was throughout like the New York City, like the East River.
No, they were chasing the Lizard.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Who was chasing Craven?
Right. Okay. Yeah. So it was like a whole big chain of events. But you're like going through the East River, I guess, right, between like Brooklyn, Queens, and Manhattan, and you're flying around, and it's like, oh, like they're calling out to each other, Spider-Man and Miles. They're like, oh, hey, I got this. Go ahead. And then like you switch over, and then you're that guy for a few minutes, and it's like, oh, come on, I got him. Hold on, and then you flip back. So I feel like it's a little more scripted, and I don't know, maybe not, but like I wish you could on the fly switch between the two and do that particular segment, and like whatever their goal is would be their thing to get to the next part of that mission. That would be super cool.
You could probably I think once you're like in something, you probably can't switch it, but like if you're just free forming around the open
Manhattan
world
or whatnot, yeah,
you could switch, and it looks like you're in Queens. You're gonna be in Queens.
They did have some battle in Queens, right? There's a lot of picket fences. There's a lot of single family homes. I'm like, oh, that is not Manhattan. Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah,
that was awesome.
Well, the problem having Spider-Man outside of New York City, outside of Manhattan, is web slinging. Like New York City has all the buildings, so you can web sling. Brooklyn to a certain extent, but for the most part, when you go into suburbia is like, where are you web slinging?
Right, exactly, exactly. They're all 1-story, 2-story houses at most. You don't get a lot of verticality.
I mean, they're probably like street lights that you could probably do that too, but not every block has like 4 or 5 street lights. It's probably 1 or 2, right? So I wonder how this is gonna work, and it's definitely gonna be certain parts in Queens and maybe certain parts of Brooklyn, right? And it's gonna be
Yeah,
a train. It's probably gonna have to take the train.
that's gonna be awesome. Seeing an above ground train that you could probably like ride on top of because it's all above ground.
Well, you can ride the if you remember you can ride the train above ground in Manhattan. It's just once it hit the bridge or once it hit the
Oh,
tunnel,
yeah, yeah.
it knocked you off.
Oh, okay. I don't remember that. That was in the first
Oh,
one.
that was in the first one, and it was in
Okay.
Miles Morales, and it
Oh,
was in
okay.
Miles Morales. You can
Okay.
ride the train,
Huh.
uh, but it would as soon as it hit the bridge to
Yeah.
go out of the borough, it would
Hmm.
knock you off, and then as soon as it went into the tunnel, like in Manhattan, it went into the tunnel,
Right.
it would knock you off. So
Right.
you
Right.
wouldn't be able to do that. So,
Okay.
oh, and Peter Parker has the symbiote, so you get to play as Spider-Man, Black Spider-Man, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
the symbiote suit Spider-Man,
Mm-hmm.
and he
Mm-hmm.
has an attitude, just like he did in the cartoon, just like he did
Mm-hmm.
in the movie, because
Mm-hmm.
he's getting aggressive,
Right. Right.
and Miles Morales is like, this is not him. He's not normal.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Now, question: you think we'll see a Carnage appearance?
No,
Yeah,
no.
I think you're right. But my God, how good would Carnage be in a damn open world Spider-Man game? I loved him in Spider-Man and Venom.
I would
That was
say
that was great.
so. I mean, look, we don't know how. Obviously, they're not going to spoil that in
Mm-hmm.
any of these trailers. We don't know how he got the symbiote suit. It's
Mm-hmm.
going to get to him at some point. That's going to be the first act of the game, and you get a low level boss, right? Like the Rhino, because I think we beat the Rhino in the first game, right?
I
If I'm not
believe he was in
mistaken.
the first one. Yeah, it was Rhino,
Yeah, yeah.
Doc Ock, Lizard was in there. Mr.
It's gonna
Negative.
be
Yeah,
it's gonna be it's
and
gonna be
Electro.
it's gonna be a low level boss that we're gonna have to interact with and beat, and then we're gonna
Mm-hmm.
get the symbiote. Craven will be the boss throughout the game,
Most
mainly
likely,
because
yeah.
we don't have the Shadow Warriors, right? The big one of the bosses in the first game was like the Shadow boss. It was like a deep cut for Spider-Man fans for that boss, and we
Oh, right, right, right. Yeah.
and we had those Shadow warrior enemies that kept coming around. So
Yep.
now we have. In place of that, Craven and his crew. His crew is
Mm-hmm.
going to be all over the city. We're going to have to beat up and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then at the end, we're gonna, depart from Venom, and then we're gonna have to beat Venom. And at some point, we're gonna have to get the Lizard back to being the Doctor.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, there you go.
So
That's strong possibility for story beats. I can't wait to play it. It looks awesome, right? It is firmly next generation, right? It's not coming out for previous
it is not
consoles,
a
right?
it is
No.
not a PS4 game. No,
Yeah.
it's a straight PS5 game.
Which good.
N-
Good.
Before the showcase, they did announce that this Spider-Man no co-op, and it's completely single player.
Yeah,
So we won't be able to play together.
that's sad. But if it goes the way that we kind of think it will for those scripted segments, it's not like you can just hop between them, so it'd be hard to do co-op in that way. But I'm sure they thought about it, right? I'm sure they thought about it, trying to incorporate that, because that would be
Spider-Man
like
3,
an amazing selling point.
Spider-Man 3.
Sure, yeah, yeah. I mean, if this does well enough, they're certainly going to make another one.
PlayStation 6, Spider-Man 3. Now
Or
you can
or
play
PS5.
co-op.
Just put it
Yeah.
at the end of the PS5 era.
Well, I
Make
mean,
it
you
like a
don't, we
Last of
don't.
Us game.
It's
Make it
already
have
been
fun.
three. It's actually already. This is the third year
My,
of
Miles
the
Miles
system, so
Morales
we'll
was.
see.
Oh. The third. I thought you were gonna say the third in the franchise, because Miles Morales technically was part two.
I mean,
Kinda, right? I mean,
well, here's the thing.
it's a whole new game.
This is Peter Parker's story. I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah, yeah.
I think they're like, hey, look, Miles Morales was a side story, sort of like DLC that we put out by itself, and
Hmm.
it turned out to be a really full, fun game. I wonder if we're gonna get a second one,
Maybe.
right, with just
Yeah.
him in different story beats.
Hmm.
So. Also, no release date. It just said fall 2023. All the
Hmm.
rumors were it was coming out in September. Now that they saying fall to me, when they say fall, I think this is October, November game, and probably going to be the big game of, it's going to be the big game before Christmas. It's
Now,
going to be the game that we hope gets to be part of the game of the year discussion. It doesn't come out at late November. Hopefully, it comes out
right.
early November.
Now, why do you think they didn't put a date on it, or even just say the month. They didn't even say the month; they just said fall, which is between now and December 21st. If you want to get technical, well, between September 21st and December 21st is the month, the 3 months of fall.
Season of fall.
The season of fall. Why would they not? Now, are they like worried that like, oh, maybe one of these games will shift and then they have to pivot? Or are they kind of just waiting for the last month? Because obviously they don't want to go up against.
I don't think he's ready.
They don't want to go up against Starfield. They don't want to go up against Modern Warfare, whatever the new Call of Duty is. They don't want to go up against all these other heavy hitters. They want to have their own week or 2 weeks to get all the.
No, I just don't think he's not ready. I don't think they care about that, to be honest. I don't. Well,
I think that's a big factor. You don't want to go up against Call of Duty.
No, I don't think that's a factor at all. The only reason why I don't think they would want to go off against Call of Duty because they still have the marketing for it and they want to push that. But Starfield, I don't think
that too.
Starfield is a separate type, it's a different type of game. I don't think they're worried about that. I just don't think it's ready. I think.
Well, yeah.
I think at some point, if they come out and say it's coming out February 2nd, they're gonna be like, well, look, we didn't give a release date. We gave like a release window.
I guess that's a fair point. Like they know it's coming out this year. They were confident enough to show it at the PlayStation Showcase and say it's coming out this fall. It is a good idea to leave yourself a little bit of breathing room. Hey, we need a few more weeks. We need another month. Maybe they can push it, right? So I could see that being a reason for it, and I think it's a good reason. We know that it's coming out around this time. Stay tuned. So.
It looks awesome, and
it does look good.
I don't know if you notice on the bottom left hand side, like it has like a power wheel with different abilities, right? And in the original game, you had to hold down L1 or L2, if I believe.
Yeah.
To get, and then it obviously slowed down time, and you get to choose which web sling you want to use.
Yep.
But I'm gonna check out this different abilities on that bottom left hand corner, that power wheel. I want to see what different abilities you could use. So, all right, moving on. This we talked about. I think you were a little skeptical on it, but I said no. I believe this is going to be real. I believe this is real. And that is Konami is throwing that hat back into the gaming world with Metal Gear Solid Snake Eater remake. It was announced. It's actually called Metal Gear Solid Delta. They don't want to put a number on it because it's Metal Gear Solid 3. And they also announced Metal Gear Solid Master Collection Volume 1.
Yeah.
Which would include the first, I think this is the first time ever, Metal Gear Solid, the original Metal Gear Solid being ported off of the PS1. I know...
If you don't count the Twin Snakes version for the
Twin
GameCube.
Snakes, yes,
which was different though. I mean, it was a retelling of the first game, and Kojima had nothing to do with it. He kind of disowns it. He's like, that's not really Metal Gear Solid. Not that it's a bad game, but technically not. That doesn't count. It's
Metal Gear 1, 2, and 3 coming out this fall. As a collection. Yeah,
they did do a collection for. Like the HD collection for PlayStation 3, but I don't think that included the first game.
They didn't include the first game. So this would be the first time the actual PS1 game is being ported. All right. So that's awesome. Oh, by the way, this is not a PlayStation exclusive. It will be coming out for Xbox too.
I think we need to say that a lot of these games are not necessarily exclusive. And Microsoft went on Twitter to make a point of like, hey, these games are also coming to Twitter or coming to Xbox or whatever they ended up saying about it. Spider-Man obviously is an exclusive, which is awesome. There are some other notable games from some new studios that are exclusive, which I thought was kind of good to see. But yeah, this is multi-platform. Xbox, PlayStation. I'm assuming PC as well. I don't see why they wouldn't.
But I don't plan on this coming to the Switch though. I don't think this. Is on the Switch.
Yeah. Wow. You know what? I don't think there's any Metal Gear games on the Switch. Like,
are there any Metal Gear games at all?
I don't think there's any in the Nintendo Switch Online. They don't have the original or even like Snake Eater. technically the sequel that we got in America. I mean, they don't have anything. It's wild. Not even like the MSX versions or anything like that. It's wild.
So we don't have a release date, don't have a release window. This is something that is obviously a 2024 game, something to look forward to, right? I mean, it is technically a remake, right? We don't
very
know
much as a
if this
remake. Yeah.
Well, we don't know how much is going into it, right? Like, hopefully this isn't the same style of the Resident Evil remakes that have been coming out. Right?
It looks like it's gonna be that. Yeah.
Well, we haven't technically seen anything.
No, but I mean, based on like the render of Solid Snake, I think, and the hype behind it, and what we did, the little bit that we did see, to me it seems like, because what else are they doing, Dan?
Now what are you gonna now? Kojima obviously has nothing to do with this.
No. Right? No, he's probably rolling over. I know he's not dead, but he's rolling over in his.
But they got their original. They got their original voice actor of Solid Snake.
David Hayter. Yeah.
Yes.
There was some controversy over that because every time a new Metal Gear game came out, he would have to re-interview for it. He'd have to go in and do the thing in front of all the people, and they would go, "Okay, we'll let you know." Every single time. Until they got to 5, and they're like, we need to make this game bigger, and they got who's-em-a-call-it to be the voice.
Sutherland, yeah.
Yeah, from Kiefer Sutherland from 24. And also...
Phone Booth.
What's that?
Phone Booth. I mean,
Phone
he's just
booth?
a voice on...
Oh.
He's just a voice in Phone Booth.
No, I was gonna say the vampire movie from the 80s. I didn't realize.
Oh,
he was
Lost Boys.
Lost Boys. Yeah, thank you.
He was the guy talking to Calavero on the phone. He's the one saying, "You better not get off the phone." And yeah, he was the hitman.
Okay.
Oh, the sniper, I should say. Okay. And they only showed him at the end.
Right.
So he was the guy on the phone. So
well, there you go.
Most of his involvement in the movie was just talking.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad they got David Hayter back because I mean it'd be weird to have it voiced by somebody else when David Hayter is still alive and would love to come back into the role, obviously, because he's doing the voice. So good to see.
So hopefully this would be, I would say, holiday 2024.
Sure.
Or even Christmas too, right?
Yeah.
Here's okay. Wait, rewind. Let's do something about this Christmas thing, right? So we always say Christmas 2 is the beginning of the next year, but technically we're in a brand new year, so this would be Christmas 1 because this would be the first Christmas of the year. This would be the first Christmas of the year.
You're goading me into, is this a sandwich? That's what you're asking me right now. Is this I'm not getting into it, Dan. No.
So we're like, hey, we're like, hey, Zelda came out at the tail end of Christmas 2, but we haven't even had Christmas 1 yet, technically.
Okay. When does I'm gonna go ahead and squash this right away. When does the fiscal year end for companies?
Well, that depends. Whenever they, that depends. It actually depends, funny enough.
The fiscal year generally ends, I believe, at the end of March, right? They don't end at the end of December. So they don't follow the same timeline. Time is amorphous. We just create these things out of whatever. We make these arbitrary. This is what a day is. This is what a month is. This is when Christmas is. It's been long established that Christmas, right? It's the birth of Christ and all of that, all right? That whole thing on December 25th. That's been long established. Video games have only been around for like 50
holiday,
years, maybe.
Not really his birthday.
There's some pagan traditions.
Semantics, okay. Yeah,
there's some pagan traditions in there, but it's the birth of Christ. If you want to get into the details on it, we can do that too. But the point that I'm making is that holiday has been around since year 0, right? Whenever Christ was born, I think it was year 0, right? Because it's BC is before Christ. Video games have only been around for like 50 years, and that's being a little generous, all right? So you only have the video game holiday sales season as long as you've had video games. So Christmas predates all of that by like almost 2,000 years, almost 2 millennia. So You can't flip it around and say this is Christmas 1 and the original Christmas is now Christmas 2. It doesn't work. There you go. You goaded me into it.
Technically, you just said we make up all these things. We could make up that this is Christmas 1 and that is Christmas 2.
But I mean, we could.
If we're making these
but
things
why?
up,
We've had the one that's been there before. Now we have the sequel. We have the next Christmas. You wouldn't rewrite it to be like, well, now this is Christmas too.
This is what we're gonna do.
No, that's it. That's it.
This is Christmas, and that's Christmas sequel or Christmas. Oh no, that's we'll do. No. You know what? I'm gonna squash this right now. Microsoft solved this. They solved it last generation.
Oh, it's the window. Is it the window?
No, not the window. Not the window. Okay, not the window. This is Christmas.
Not the launch window. Yeah.
This is Christmas 1. Okay.
I'm glad you're finally calling it Christmas 1.
This is Christmas ONE, right? And when we get to the fall, we're going to be celebrating the original Christmas. That's the original Christmas. Xbox already solved this, all right? We got the original Xbox, you got the Xbox ONE. Okay, so this is Christmas ONE.
Listen,
and that's the original Christmas.
Dan's out here like a chaotic evil D&D player, just messing everything up. No, we got Christmas in December, and Christmas 2 comes after for all the other games that are AAA titles but couldn't make the holiday season.
All right. Well, guess what? Seriously, I want you to guess what I'm drinking now.
Oh my God! It's obviously you're drinking Pepsi now.
No, I'm drinking a light skin Coke.
Light skin Coke. Okay. Wouldn't that just be Diet Coke in that case?
No. All right, let's get back to the PlayStation Showcase. PlayStation Showcase.
Where were we in this showcase? Oh.
So they finally announced something that you thought wouldn't be true, and I said this is absolutely.
I didn't say it wouldn't be true.
You were skeptical. You were like, I don't think they're gonna do this, and I said, no, this sounds like something crazy that Sony would do, and that is, they do have a dedicated streaming device, controller, or whatever you want to call it. It's as of right now we call it Project Q.
They've got their version of the Switch.
They have their version of the Wii U gamepad, essentially.
Oh, I guess that's even more accurate. Yeah, So
it's a device that has. It looks like
get into the details.
Joy-Cons. It looks like a PlayStation Joy-Cons. That's what it looks like.
Right, on a little 8-inch screen. Yeah.
Yeah, it is a DualSense sort of controller with an 8-inch HD screen on it.
Mm-hmm.
It looks nice and thin and slender. It looks ergonomic. The handles, it's not like a Switch in a sense of where all of this is together. Like the Joy-Cons, the controller parts. There is some room in between, so you can grip it. Right?
Yeah. I'm assuming that's for ergonomics because otherwise it just looks stupid. I didn't like the big gap in between the screen and the controllers.
The handle parts. I thought that looked awesome. Like I was like, okay, that makes sense because you want to hold it like you're holding an actual controller.
If it's for ergonomics and like comfort, maybe.
And honestly, that's the one thing I have an issue with the Switch.
Really?
That's why I mostly play my Switch docked because I want the controller.
I feel like
controller, and I don't have a controller around me to show you.
I feel like they could have done that without just have the little extensions. Just have the controller on the sides, right? Just have the little bit on the bottom where like your palm rests, and have it stick down a little bit, and then just have the whole thing go all the way across. Like don't have the air gap in the middle. I think you could have made that work. I don't know. I wasn't because you can't attach these controllers. I don't think. It doesn't look like, right? It's a whole thing. And that's it. You can't do anything else with it, I don't think.
We didn't get a price. We didn't get a release date. We did get confirmation is you're just streaming any game that's on your PS5 console using remote play over your local Wi-Fi. Mm-hmm. So,
which
I don't think you can take this out.
Well, if they're saying Wi-Fi, so as long as you're on a Wi-Fi connection, it seems like that's fine. So if it's public Wi-Fi, it should be okay. or you're on some restaurant Wi-Fi or Starbucks, you're good, but it won't have a data plan, right?
No.
Yeah. Yeah. Which
I think we're past those days. I think we're really past those days.
Well, the only one that really does that is like the tablet companies, right? The Samsungs and the Apples of the world, right? They'll say, "Hey, you can get it with the data plan if you want," but yeah.
And honestly, I think those are only pushed once you get like an actual phone. They're like, "Hey, do you want a separate line for your iPad?" And I always say no.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, no, I don't want to have a separate line for my iPad. That makes no sense.
Right.
They did announce PlayStation 5 earbuds along with it. Also, no price, no release date.
Mm-hmm.
It does look Sony. You may not like the idea of a gamepad, right? Just where you can stream your games in your PS5. You can stream your PS5 games sort of to your handheld, let somebody else watch TV or something along those lines, or even hopefully co-op, like like couch co-op. That would be awesome.
Sure.
If you could do that. You may not like the idea, but I like the designs. Sony is always known for having great designs, in my view. Even though I know you don't like the design of this controller, I do. Those earbuds look good too.
In general, I think the earbuds do look good. They match, and obviously the color scheme matches with the handheld, the Project Q handheld or whatever it is. I don't think they gave it a name, did they?
No.
Project Q. They still said Project Q.
It could be a Jeff Keighley thing, right? Where at Summer Games Fest, because they did say we'll know more later in the year, so that could be something that could be at Summer Games Fest.
We get the name,
we did get the PlayStation Edge announced at Summer Games Fest last year, right?
That's true. So, yeah. The thing for me with the handheld console, it comes down to price. That's it, right? If it's $200 or under, then you're going to get people to buy it. If it's over $200, it is way overpriced. Because, I mean, if you're
I think they would. I agree with you with $200. I just don't. I think they're gonna do it at $250 only because the DualSense Edge is $200. Right?
Too much.
I hope I'm wrong, but I feel like they're gonna want to make this feel more premium. I
don't think they're gonna have all the functionality of the Edge controller. It'll just be the regular DualSense controller with the screen on there. And a regular DualSense is like $70 or $80, right? If you factor in the screen, we don't know if it's OLED or not. Hopefully it is, because that would be nice, right? The new Switches are OLED, but those are like $350. But also, it's a full-fledged console. This is just like a streaming dock, so you can get the price down a little bit. But for me, it's less appealing because I live alone, so I don't have to deal with anybody else. If I want to watch something on TV or play a video game, I'm going to do it. If I want to do the dual screen situation, I can either play stuff on my phone while I'm playing a video game on the TV screen, or I can use my Switch, or I can play a game on my mobile phone. So I have options to play games, plus all the retro stuff that we have, so we can do that as well. It's less appealing for me, especially if it's over $200. I'm out.
This is where I think it's going to be, the reason why I think it's going to be $250.
Mm-hmm.
Logitech G is just a streaming device. That's all it is. That's what this is as well, with the internals of DualSense.
Mm-hmm.
And Logitech Cloud is $300.
And I think that's a high price.
It actually is $350, but it's on sale for $300 right now.
Right. And if you look at the other offerings that are out there, let's say the Steam Deck, if you take it at its original price, the Logitech system, for just $50 more, you can get the base Steam Deck, which is a better value. Which allows you to play games locally. So,
which is
comparatively, right? Comparatively, why would you ever get the Logitech handheld device? You wouldn't.
I agree with you. And if this Project Q is $300, that would be vastly overpriced, and I wouldn't get it. I would get it. I would think about getting it if it's $250. That would be something I would have to think about. Okay. If it's $200, I would get it in a heartbeat. I would $200.
I think that needs to be the price. Now, depending on what type of screen it has, like that could bump up the price a little bit. Now, if you're going to say it's $250 with an OLED screen, that's a little more palatable than just a regular LCD, LED backlit, or whatever it is screen. I could see that being kind of like a justification. And who knows? Maybe it has features that we don't even know yet. It does some cool stuff that would be a value add that we don't know about yet. So, it's kind of hard to say. We saw what the form factor looks like. We saw the mock-up with the screen. We saw the controllers, and we know it's coming out sometime. So,
then they show we got a pretty good look at the next Assassin's Creed Mirage, right? It looks like it's a return to form, like the original.
Yeah. Love it.
We got a release date, October 12th, and it's coming out for everything except for the Switch. And then you would say, Dan, no, it's not coming out for everything. I know, but in the Switch's place, it's coming out on Amazon Luna.
Yep. Ubisoft is all about putting their product everywhere. They were the first ones, even before the Stadia was announced, you could play Assassin's Creed Odyssey in your browser. That was their kind of test bed for it.
I tried it out. I tried it out. I remember.
Yeah. So, not surprising that they would put it on Amazon Luna, which is Amazon's answer to Stadia and xCloud and all that other stuff. So,
I'm just surprised that they couldn't get it to work on the Switch, even a downgrade version to get it to work on the Switch. I mean, is it even worth it to have it on the Switch?
I think it would be. Yeah.
We got older versions. The earlier versions of the Assassin's Creed games on the Switch.
For sure.
Come on, you can get this on the Switch.
People would play them. Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Yeah. We got gameplay of Alan Wake 2. I swear the guy in Alan Wake 2 looks just like Keanu Reeves. It's like a Keanu Reeves ripoff from John Wick. He looks like John Wick.
I'm gonna have to go back to the tape and take a look at that.
He looks like John Wick if you put John Wick in Resident Evil. That's what he looks like. I'm sorry.
Okay. I'm going to have to go back to the tape and take a look. I didn't necessarily get those vibes when I watched it, but maybe I missed it.
So I didn't think they announced an official release date. I know there was some speculation about it coming out in October, and I hope that's what that makes sense because it's more of a survival horror game, right? Even more so than the first one. This is essentially like a Resident Evil game.
Yeah.
Limited ammo. You definitely need to be in the light and have flashlight and look out for batteries. Now, the disappointing thing about this announcement is they are not releasing a physical edition. This is a digital game only as of now, and that is to keep the game at a lower price tier, and they can, they don't have to worry about pressing anything, keeping the cost down. So is essentially what they were saying. I hope one day we do get a physical for game preservation purposes. I hope one day Limited Run can say, 2 years from now, hey, you can get Alan Wake 2,
I 100% think they're going to do a physical version eventually. Yeah. Because people want it. I mean, people like the first game. They liked it enough to get a sequel. And this is tied into the
Control universe.
Thank you.
Alan
tied
Wake
into
universe.
the Control universe. So I wonder what nods they're going to put into Alan Wake about Control. Because the DLC.
At the end of the game, he's going to have force power.
Yeah, right? Oh my god. That'd be kind of wild. He's part of the Control experiment.
He has metachlorines in him that
midichlorians? Yeah. Midichlorians. It's a hard word to say.
He has metachlorines in him. Yeah. So we did get to see a Destiny trailer for the next, I guess, expansion, but they did say, more to come at a Destiny showcase.
Yep.
Which makes sense. But they did show off a new game, or should I say, an old game reimagined, and that is Bungie's original game from the 90s, Marathon.
Yep.
Now, it will be a direct sequel to that game, by the way.
So, fun fact, they denied it for a while, and then they had to come clean. They're like, yeah, they're the same. But Master Chief is the guy from Marathon. They basically just took the idea and moved him forward and turned him into Master Chief. Like, going by the game lore, they're not connected, but it's the same character.
Wow.
So technically, Master Chief is going to now be on a PlayStation console.
So this first-person shooter by Bungie's originally released back on the Mac in 1992.
Yep.
So, game is PvP focused and won't feature any single-player campaign. Unfortunately,
That's a little sad. It's a little sad. It would have been cool to get a single-player campaign and also head-to-head PvP, but still could be good. I mean, I'm like kind of hyped.
So we got. I mean, that's. I would assume, in one of those, they did say they're going to have like 10 live service games, right? I assume that's going to be one of them. And we finally got Jade Raymond's game, right? From her new studio Haven that was scooped up by Sony.
Yeah.
It's called Fair Games, which is definitely one of the live service games that they were talking about. It's a competitive heist experience coming to the PC and PS5, and you'll be wondering why isn't this? I mean, it's a PlayStation console exclusive, but it's on PC because it's a live service game. And you want to have the biggest player count that you can have.
That's what they were saying. Yeah, you need to have a big audience. That's why a lot of these shooters, these kind of games as a service or whatever, get like shut down so quickly because there's not enough people playing.
By the way, Jade Raymond's game, PlayStation console exclusive, and Marathon also coming to Xbox, because with the agreement that they made with Bungie made to be acquired by Sony, that their games won't necessarily have to be platform exclusive. They can come out on other consoles.
Sure.
So this would be another game coming out on Xbox with the PlayStation logo on it.
Right. I do want to say with Fair Games, which did look really cool. We just got a super
cinematic trailer.
Yeah, it was super stylized cinematic trailer. So I want to see what the gameplay looked like, because what they showed in the cinematic trailer did look very cool. I want to see how much of that actually translates, because I'm like, this is way too smooth. This looks way too good. Obviously, nobody was.
I say Watch Dogs 2 meets Grand Theft Auto, the bank heist edition, the DLC or expansion.
All those little missions that you go on. Yeah.
Those missions, those little missions that do the bank heist, mixed with Watch Dogs 2. That's what it looks like to me. Like, I thought this was a Watch Dogs game, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, if it's done right and you can do all the cool things in the game and it's not just there for show, I'm sold. But we'll see.
Right. I was not sold on this next game.
No?
From Square Enix.
No?
From Square Enix. No, not sold. As soon as I saw it, I said, this is a Splatoon ripoff. And,
yeah, very much is. Yeah.
They are leaning into that. They're going to try to get some of that Splatoon money. Watch out, Nintendo, because Foam Stars from Square Enix, which is a Splatoon-like shooter, and instead of ink, Squid ink, you're using foam,
like
colored
party foam. Yeah. I mean, hey,
not sold at all.
Definitely. Well, I mean, you also don't play Splatoon, right? Because it's all competitive.
I love Splatoon. No, it's not. It has
you like the single player portion of it.
The single player portion is awesome.
But the multiplayer side of it, and they didn't say that this had any single player component. I don't think it's going to. Yeah, I think it's going to be multiplayer head to head only, which makes sense. Because you need a lot of people to play. You need to have a big audience for this. This is from Square Enix, so not platform exclusive. I don't think they said anything about like just PlayStation. So
it's probably, I mean, definitely Xbox. I don't know if it'll be a Switch game though.
Yeah, it looked pretty. It looked real pretty from the trailer. It's definitely a step up from what Splatoon's graphics are, as good as they are.
You say foam. I thought it was soap. To be honest,
potato,
bubbles, yeah, cotton candy. Yeah. At some point I thought it was cotton candy. Yeah, it's definitely not a game for me. Splatoon definitely was into that.
Yeah, and we should also say this is just like Fair Games. This is a game as a service or a live service game. So we need to hope that the player base is strong, so that this game continues more than 6
And
months.
because if it doesn't, it will be shut down. Because Square Enix will definitely shut it down.
Of course. They'd be the first people to say nope, shut it down.
Now, the next game is the best indie game of the showcase, the best in my opinion, right? And that is Plucky Squire.
Oh yeah, I mean this was at Penny Arcade last year. Had a big old booth.
Top down adventure game, right? Reimagined top down. It gave me vibes of It Takes Two, because it goes into sort of you know where you're top down and you're like side scroll. You're top down, you're side scrolling. You're doing different obstacles, doing different things. It looks like you can race in this game, like the different objectives. Like in It Takes Two, we had a portion where we were racing. Yep. We had a portion where it looked like Zelda. Yep. We had a section where there was like we were doing like a Mortal Kombat fighting game.
Yeah,
section.
There was a lot of different variety in there. Yeah, similar in this way, right? You're like 2D or 3D. You're going in and out of the different like.
It's like a link between worlds too. It's like a link between worlds, but you when you walk through the painting and you're going up. Yeah, like that was like I was like, this is cool. I definitely want to pick this up.
I wish I stopped by the booth and played it last year, because it did look awesome. It's on the way, coming out this year, so super cool. Glad it's coming to console with PlayStation 5. Yeah,
it's definitely. I mean, this should come out on the Switch too. I hope so.
Yeah, I would like to think. I mean, it's definitely PC. It's probably Xbox. Switch is a question mark. Yeah.
Yeah. It's not a question mark. It's not coming out in Stadia.
Well, no, definitely not.
Yeah. A game that I thought was the final. I thought this was going to be the Final Fantasy when it first came on. I thought this was like in the Final Fantasy universe or a spin-off. Or maybe part of 6, like another trailer that we're going to see another shot. Or 16, sorry. Phantom Blade Zero. It's a hack and slash RPG. It looks like a Japanese steampunk game.
Yep.
Right?
Yep. I thought it was possibly a sequel to Ghost of Tsushima.
Oh, really?
Because of the samurai stuff. I mean, like a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah. No, you're right. You're right.
A little bit.
I thought of Final Fantasy just because I thought like they would do something totally different, and it looked like it was Final Fantasy-esque in the beginning, but then it quickly, as the trailer went on, I was like, no, this is not Final Fantasy.
Yeah, but I
just hope this isn't like Dark Souls. I hope it's not Dark Souls hard.
Well, is a possibility. I think there's about a 50-50 chance that it could go the way of Dark Souls. But I mean, you got through Ghost of Tsushima, and that had some Dark Souls elements to it, right?
Yeah, but it wasn't as hard. It wasn't like you died in one hit.
Well, no.
The hit didn't even hit you and you dead. I didn't.
Right.
The sword was swinging and half your life just went away.
It's oppressively difficult. Yeah.
Yeah.
Shoot.
Yeah. The monster turned around and you just drop dead.
Yeah.
Like that.
It's like, oh, you were spotted. Nope, you're done.
Yeah, that was Dark Souls, right? There was Dark Souls, Demon Souls, Sekiro, all the Souls games. No, right. I'm Elden Ring. No, I'm good. No, it looks cool. I would be into it as long as it's not a Souls type game. Then I'm out. Then I'm out. A sequel that didn't even know I wanted, Ghost Runner 2. Remember, we saw Ghost Runner back in 2020, right?
2020. It was our game of the show.
We were the ones that showed Matt. Right?
That's right.
We brought Matt over and said, you got to look at this game, Ghost Runner. It's coming out later this year. That's all we got.
Yep.
And here you're in a motorcycle, right? Like you start out in a motorcycle going down a building and then you're jumping through. Like I was like, wow, this is kind of crazy. I didn't know what kind of theme this was.
Yeah, I like the introduction of other, like, the vehicles into the mix, kind of mixing things up a little bit, because this is very much a kind of speed running game. You got to jump from this platform to this platform and then slide and then slash this guy, single hit and you're dead type situation. So, but it was super cool. Yeah, very good for what it was.
And we had Sword of the Sea. The same developers, Giant Squad. They made The Pathless, which was a PS5 exclusive. I think it's out now on other platforms, but when it came out, it was a PS5 exclusive. In Abzu, right?
And Journey. And Journey.
Oh, and Journey. Yeah. And you're in a hoverboard hovering over sand, water. Like, I was like, okay, this is kind of cool.
I thought
like
this was like a Journey sequel.
Oh, like Journey.
I literally thought it was a Journey sequel because it looks so much like Journey. But that's just because it came from the same studio. So you're gonna get some aesthetic crossover, right? Kind of carry that over. It looked cool. Yeah, very, 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 very hyped for this.
And then, of course, they did mention at this showcase they would talk about a lot of PSVR games. We're not going to get into all of them, but the two notable ones that were there were Resident Evil 4 Remake VR mode. We got a trailer for that. No release date or window, right?
But yeah, this is definitely a 2024 situation if they weren't going to say when.
This is something I would challenge Dave to play again
in
VR.
Of course you will. Are you going to go ahead and buy me a PSVR too? Because I don't do it.
Listen,
yeah? Wait. Did you say you're going to buy me a PSVR too?
As soon as PSVR 2 goes buy one, get one half off, I will definitely get you one.
Get the FL. I mean, I'll still take it. Which is never going to happen. So he's never going to get one for me, but that's okay. Listen. Christmas 1 or Christmas 2 is right around the corner, whatever you want to call it, Dan.
Listen. Christmas 1 and Christmas Original. We will see.
Okay.
And then we got Crossfire Sierra Squad. That looked the most like realistic. If that's what you're actually seeing in your eye, like when you put the headset on, that looked like the most Call of Duty in VR I've ever seen.
Sure. It did look good. I don't know if you got to play, probably not, because you never play your PSVR. But did you ever get to play Fire Squad? I think it was called Fire Squad.
Yes, the original. Yes, I did.
Okay.
I did play, actually.
Which was cool. Don't get me wrong, but there was a lot left to be desired with that game. But you could do the squad-based tactics and all that. You could outfit your characters, run around, peek around corners, do all that stuff. This looks like a super enhanced version of that, so. That's super cool. I guess the other thing too, I know it's not in the show notes, but Beat Saber out today or yesterday. Brand new Beat Saber for PS5. It's just port forwarded from the PS4, but also now there's the Queen music pack, which amazing. Love Queen. Good band. So as soon as I get my PSVR 2, I'm going to get the Queen music pack and play Beat Saber because it's a damn good workout, Dan.
All right. Dave, we didn't hit every game because I had over 37 games, and we'll be here for another 30, 40 minutes if we were talking about every single game. But we hit all the major points. Were you, on a Dave scale, how would you rate this PlayStation showcase? The first one we've had in about 2 years.
Well, there wasn't a lot of VR when they said they're going to go VR heavy. I know we only covered like 2-3 games. Wasn't as VR heavy as I thought it was going to be. And there was no.
I thought they had a section where we saw like 7 VR games.
At
the
end,
were all the same thing.
I mean, yeah. I don't know. I just thought it was going to be a bigger part of the presentation. Maybe I was expecting too much. I don't know. But I mean, beyond that, we didn't see any Wipeout VR. So
I told you. I
gotta knock them off points. They have to be working on it. They have to be working on it.
Off points in a game no one announced. They didn't. That's like me saying I'm gonna knock off points because they didn't see a PSP.
But they're leaving money on the table, Dan. They're leaving money on the table.
They are. They need to make that. They need the Project Q needs to be Vita 2, and they're leaving money on the table.
So I mean, beyond all that,
they never announced it.
Beyond
points.
Beyond all that, I know a lot of people online were very critical of this. They said. The games
Spider-Man saved it.
Well, I mean, the games from the acquired studios, Haven and the other one I can't think of the name of right now. They didn't show any gameplay. They just had like a sizzle reel of like their game coming out. They were fairly quick for what they were. Same thing with the Fair games. We didn't get to see any gameplay footage or anything like that. Didn't really see a lot of what the game is about. It was more of like a sizzle reel. Even like beyond all that though, like we got a lot of games. We got new games. We got new announcements. We got VR stuff. We officially got Project Q. There's a lot of good stuff in here. We got a lot of good games. It was a long presentation.
Dragon's Dogma 2. We got Helldivers 2.
Yeah.
We didn't talk about any of that stuff.
Yeah.
Ultros, right? Like that was a side-scrolling, Metroidvania style like side scroll. We got a variety of games.
Yeah, there was like 37 games in this presentation, right? That's a lot. And not a lot of duds. There may be stuff that we're not interested in, but like it's new properties,
Foam
right?
Masters.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I don't know.
Foam Masters from Star. Yeah, Foam Stars.
Foam Stars. Yeah, okay,
Yeah,
okay. There's
yeah.
one game that Dan's not hype on, but I don't know.
No.
I was definitely pretty hype on this. I don't know about you.
Because we don't have Dave doesn't have a 5-point scale. He only has a 4-point scale.
We have a 4-point scale.
I would say I would give it on the high end.
So would I. It wasn't fantastic. Surprisingly, we didn't see anything out of Studio Santa Monica. We didn't see anything out of any of the other Sony studios. Didn't see anything for Last of Us Factions. There's a lot of stuff that I thought was going to be here, but I still think it was good. Well, why?
You know why? Because all of those are 2024 games, and 2024 is going to have a big showcase, right? We're going to be back to form.
I mean,
E3 style.
I hope so. I mean, I'm really surprised there was no mention of Factions. That was definitely kind of odd. God of War
or Jeff Keighley. Remember, we got the artwork from Factions last year at Jeff Keighley's presentation.
Yeah,
so Jeff Keighley could be saving.
That's way too big an announcement.
Gameplay.
I mean, maybe, but I think that's
and release date for.
I think that's way too big an announcement for Sony to let that go.
I don't.
Why would you give arguably one of the most, if not the most anticipated thing to come out from Sony out of all the stuff that is in production or we heard rumors about and this and that?
It's not The Last of Us 3. It's The Last of Us multiplayer game.
Yeah, people are hype on this. Like The Last of Us TV series just ended. Everyone's very hype on that. The Last of Us Part 1 came out. A lot of people were hype on that. Sans the $70 price tag.
I beat it.
They got a lot of good. They got a lot of the stock of Last of Us is very high. I don't know. I wouldn't necessarily give that to Keighley, but
well, I would say Jeff Keighley. Because he said Sony's going to be there. And if they're not going to talk about Project Q, I definitely think that we're going to get more of the Factions. We'll probably get some gameplay. I think that's what's going to be at Jeff Keighley's event.
I think we'll get gameplay and details on the games featured here. We'll get more info on them, right? You get people hyped for a little bit, let them stew for a month, and then we get gameplay for this.
No, the two. I mean, some of the indie games, yeah. Street Fighter 6, 100%.
Well, Street Fighter 6 may even be out by the time his thing kicks off.
Actually, that's true. You're
right
about that.
Yeah, it's a possibility.
Street Fighter 6 comes out June 2nd. So.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think Factions.
I hope
Jeff
so.
Keighley sort of
has
that relationship with Naughty Dog, and he sort of like got it down because we didn't hear anything about Factions until Jeff Keighley's. That's a fair point.
And you know what? It doesn't matter to me when they announce it. Just that we get to see it. Here's some details on it, and here's when it's coming out. Right? So it's the same other way. But
all right. Dave, you got any good weekend plans coming up?
Playing more Tears of the Kingdom.
Okay.
I mean, I'm deep in it, Dan, and well, go ahead.
Well, I was just saying that I know that we're gonna know when we do. Before we always start the show, we're epically fail. What have you been playing? We already know you're gonna be playing Tears of the Kingdom.
I do have to say that when I got the Switch, I used it in the dock for a little bit to play Zelda, and then when Zelda was done, I put it back in the dock for Mario a little bit, and then I beat it on the handheld. I played most of Mario and then beat it in handheld mode. I never used the dock unless friends were coming over. We do some Mario Kart on the big screen or whatever else. Never used the dock. Always played it in handheld mode until Tears of the Kingdom, because it's that good. You got to give it respect. You got to play it on the big screen, Dad.
Oh,
so good.
Okay,
it's so good.
Well, as I told you earlier regarding the form factor, I prefer the form factor of this Project Q.
Okay.
over the form factor of like the Switch. So that's one of the reasons why I don't play in handheld mode for long, because because again, subconsciously, these are Joy Cons, and you
Yeah.
don't want to grip it too hard because you
Right.
could break it. Even worse, you could break the Switch because you could break the Joy-Con connection off the
Oh
Switch. So you don't
God.
want to
Yeah.
grip it
Yeah.
too hard.
Yeah.
So subconsciously, I know I'm playing it. I got to hold it in a certain way and hold it, more of a lighter way than I probably when I
Yeah.
can't grip it as hard.
Yeah. Yeah. You got to hold it
That's
a little
why
loose. Yeah.
that's one of the reasons why I prefer to play in dock mode, so I could just hold the controller and worry about playing.
Sure. Sure.
So I am probably going to be in a beach somewhere. Who knows? Or a
Hey,
museum.
that's right. You're celebrating your birthday, man. There you go.
Celebrating birthday. You don't turn 26 every day, right? Every year you don't turn
No.
26.
And this weekend is one of those days. God damn it. Dan, the perpetual 26-year-old. There you go. Well, you look good for your age, I got to say.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, all right. I think that does it. That's episode 361 in the books, folks. And we want to thank you guys for listening to the show, for liking, commenting, and doing all the good stuff that you guys do. If you want to interact with us, and we know that you do, you can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube at Rated G for Gamers. So please listen, like, rate, review, and subscribe. And as always,
Keep gaming.